Today, we are meeting a longtime now member of our team, someone I know well, Miss Katie Inman. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Brittany.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you first. Tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Katie Inman. We'll get that out of the way. But I have worked at Channel 10 for going on 8 years now. So, I am East Tennessee born and raised. That is a big part of who I am, my identity, my story. I was born in Knoxville, raised in Dandridge. My whole family is from East Tennessee, dad's side, mom's side, and we really have just stuck our roots here, and it's gone back for generations. And I always thought there's no way I'm going to stay in East Tennessee, but here I am eating my words. I went away to college to MTSU in 2014 after I graduated from Jefferson County High School, came back here to Channel 10 in 2018. And besides my job, I love grandma hobbies. I like to cross stitch. I like to go on walks. I love to run. I've run some 5Ks, a half marathon, and I love to hang out with friends, watch TV. That's a guilty pleasure, of course. And
we work at TV. You're allowed.
I know, but I like the reality stuff, and I love game shows, and I like stuff that I can throw on and just mindless in the back. So I would say that's me in a nutshell. I am, as of recording this, I'm about to turn 30 on Saturday. So that's also exciting. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the club of above 30.
Yeah.
High above 30. Okay. So let's talk about how you got into journalism. What made you interested?
So growing up, I was always interested in performing. I have always loved being in the spotlight. I blame my parents for that. There are many videos I have found over the years of where I would force my brother to be on my talk show, or I would force him to record things with me. That's the beauty of having a younger brother, too. But have always loved being on stage, performing, acting. I was in speech contests and dance growing up, and no stranger to that. But I always thought I was going to be an actress. Whenever I got to high school and I started telling people, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be an actress. They were like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So I got kind of insecure about that, to be honest. My mom told me I should just start telling people I was going into communications because there's a lot under that umbrella. So after I started telling people that, I started looking more into what is in communications. And of course, at my high school, we're a rural high school. We didn't have any sort of TV station or newspaper, journalism type classes. Closest thing was yearbook, and I wasn't even in that. And so I saw that journalism, being in TV, was a job. And I was like, that's a job? Because you just grow up watching the people on the news. Like, I grew up watching Robin and John and Todd, and you just think, oh, that's just what they do. But that's not something that I could ever do because I didn't know anyone in my circle that had done that. But I started really thinking about it and thinking that I wanted to get involved. So I just sort of took a leap. Whenever I went to college, I toured MTSU and saw what they had and knew that it was awesome, and was just sort of crossing my fingers hoping I'd like journalism, and thank goodness I did. Just jumped head first in and got involved in journalism programs, extracurricular, my classes. Loved the storytelling aspect of it, but still you get to perform in a way, that performance piece, and I get to use my skills of public speaking and all of those types of things. But now I've found that I love the behind the camera stuff too. Like, I shoot and I write and I edit all of my own stuff. And that was something I didn't think that I would like, but I love being creative. So that's how I got into journalism. It was by way of just a love of performing.
And you talked a little bit about how you maybe thought you were going to leave East Tennessee, but you're here. And even it sounds like, I think I heard this, that after graduation, there was a brief moment where you might have been going somewhere else. But why East Tennessee? Why stay here?
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, whenever I was putting out applications to see where I was going to go for my job after college, a station in Huntsville, Alabama, they were pursuing me hard. And they were like, we want you. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to Alabama. She was like, to heck you are. And so she said, you need to think about this. You don't need to just take the first thing that's offered to you. Mother's always right, she would say. But I reached out to the news director here at the time at Channel 10 and was sort of like, hey, I'm about to take this job, because I'd interviewed here and just had never heard anything back. And so he was like, don't take that job. He said, you need to, here's an offer. And so I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know, I didn't think I was going to come home this soon after going to college in Middle Tennessee, but decided to do it because my grandparents were sick, and I knew that I would never regret spending time with my family and being close to them because family is something very important to me. And it's been a huge blessing to stay in East Tennessee, too, to get to fall in love with a place that I grew up in. But I've learned it in such a different way now with this job. And it has just been the present or the gift of my life to be able to be here for my family as family members that battled sickness, not just my grandparents, but my dad and my brother, and all of those things in 8 years that you can never predict. But there's a reason that God brought me back to East Tennessee, and so soon at that. And I'm thankful that I listened to Mom's advice, that I followed my heart. Straight from the heart. Wow, look at that plug. But East Tennessee is just everything to me. I tell people I'm very biased, but I think it's the best place to live, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
Well, let's talk more about that. What are your favorite things about East Tennessee?
Oh, gosh. Let me count the ways. Whenever I went away to school in Middle Tennessee, I realized how much I missed the mountains just being around me all the time. Because here in East Tennessee, everywhere you look, oh, there's the Smokies. Oh, the mountains are just always sort of in the background. And you don't get that everywhere, that sort of landscape. Since growing up in Dandridge, I grew up in the valley. And so right there, mountains in the background. There are so many spots where you're driving and you're just taking it in, and that is one of my most favorite things. I love being close to family and friends, and East Tennessee is just so special because not only do you have the beautiful views, but you have so much to do, and you're close to everything. You can be to the beach. You can be in Charleston in like 5 hours, and you can go on hikes. You can get outdoors. You have so many great restaurants. I mean, you really have the pick of whatever you want.
And that was sort of going to be my next question. If someone who's never been here before, and often we talk to job candidates and sort of make the pitch to come here to East Tennessee, what would be sort of your pitch to someone why you would want to come and be here if you've never been here before?
Yeah, I would say the Smokies are a big draw, especially if you like getting out in nature. I'd love whenever there's people that come and visit or that are thinking about moving here. Me and some of my friends and family will like put together the list. Okay, this is the big pitch. What do we need to show? What are the highlights? But Smokies definitely up there on the list any time of year. They're beautiful. But then also downtown Knoxville, I think is just so unique and great. I'll usually take people out just downtown and we'll pop into different restaurants or bars, or you got the Tennessee Theater, the Bijou. It's just so walkable, and there's public art. You can turn and be like, oh, there's Dolly, or oh, there's live music happening out here. So I think that a mix of the city, Knoxville, that really feels like a small town, but also the nature piece of it over in Sevier County, in the Smokies, Blount County even. So that's what I would say. And I always try to take people who are visiting to Chivo downtown because that's my favorite. Yeah, that's how I try to sell them too. Like, look how great.
Well, you've been here, as you mentioned, now for 8 years. Is there one story that stands out that really affected you personally?
Yeah, so I do the Buddy Check 10 stories every month on the 10th of the month. That is something that Robin Wilhoit started back in the 90s as a way to encourage women to do their self-checks every 10th of the month and call up your buddy, have them do the same, because there are so many stories of women that they'll do the self-check and they'll find something. And then they'll go to the doctor and they'll get diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's maybe something that saved their life or their friend's life. So those stories are just impactful in general, but one sticks out in my mind. Right whenever I first started in 2018 and the baton for Buddy Check 10 got handed to me, one of the very first stories I did was about a breast cancer survivor named Dolphin. And I talk about her so much, and I've done so many stories with her since initially meeting her. But meeting her just left a profound impact on my life because it encouraged me to look at things differently. She said something to me that I say to people all the time. She said that breast cancer was a lemon, but it made the sweetest lemonade she could have ever had because it opened the door to new friendships, a new perspective, and a new way to see life. And she is just so full of life. I'm like, I want to be like her when I grow up because she is just like a kid at heart, and she just loves to have fun. She's hiking. She started a group called Hiking for Healing, so that's why I was talking to her, that she takes breast cancer fighters and survivors on hikes, gets them out in nature, but she is just such a great person. She calls me the granddaughter she never had. And we make a point to catch up with each other and to keep in touch. And she is just someone so special to me that has left an imprint on me that I could never, ever repay her for.
So obviously, the journalism has made a huge impact on you, but maybe we knew the answer several years ago about what you would do if journalism didn't exist. Maybe that was being an actress. Has that changed, or is that still the case? What about now? What would you do?
I would say probably, yeah, try to do the acting thing, you know, whether it's on stage or in movies, TV shows, whatever, just because I love performing. I don't know if I'm really good at anything else. If I'm being so honest, I'm not good at math or really anything like that. I love to read, write, all of those types of things. My mom was an English teacher at one point, so I come by it honest. But I maybe a teacher, maybe an actress, something along those lines. I love to connect with people. That is one of my favorite parts about my job too, is connecting with people and being able to make people feel things or teach people stuff. So I think that both of those things would go right in line with that.
Well, how do you stay inspired doing what we do? Is there something specific that inspires you, a specific person who inspires you?
Yeah, whenever I thought about this question about who inspires me to be a better journalist, a better person, I thought of one journalist, Boyd Hubert, from KARE 11 in Minneapolis. He is just such a legend in not only the journalism world, but beyond that. And he is from that area where he is reporting now, Minneapolis and the Wisconsin sort of area. But he is just such a testament to me of how good storytelling can make a difference and make you feel something and make an impact. Still to this day, whenever I need inspiration, I go and watch a bunch of his stories and I'm like crying. I have so many Kleenexes, but he just has such a way of just with a word or the way he says it or the soundbite he chooses that it just makes you feel, and he makes you remember things and care for people that I'm like, we have no connections really to people in Minnesota here in East Tennessee, but I care about those people because he makes me care. And he has gotten the opportunity to come here to Knoxville to teach some classes. I got to take one of his classes back a few years ago, but he also, aside from that, has faced a cancer battle himself, and just seeing his pure strength and how he is able to push forward even despite those hard circumstances is so inspiring to me.
Well, you kind of touched on this earlier, too, about I know which restaurant you might take a visitor, but if you could take anyone anywhere in East Tennessee to show them off the best places, where would that be?
Dandridge.
Yeah.
I think that's an easy one because that's where I grew up. I always say that Dandridge is the cutest little town, like a little Hallmark town, and second oldest town in Tennessee. I could go on and on and on about the history of Dandridge, and I'm very passionate about it. But I was born and raised there, and the downtown is so picturesque. There's so much history there, and it's a working downtown. There's stuff like the Tinsley Bible Drugstore that I could take someone into. We could have a Bible burger and a milkshake and talk to Peggy that works there and talk about stories, not just of the town, but with different friendships and connections, and talk about how, Dandridge was saved because of a levee that was built downtown, and admire Douglas Lake. And I feel like I'm a walking pamphlet for Dandridge sometimes because I'm just like, come to Dandridge, come see the lake, the downtown, the sweet quaintness of it. It is just like nowhere else. And if you've never been, I really encourage you to go, because it is just magic to me. It may be more so because I'm from there, but I think that everyone could take something away from learning about the history of our second oldest town, the only town named for our first lady, Martha Dandridge Custis Washington.
I know what your next job is going to be, tour guide.
I think you're right. I'm going to join historian Bob Jarnigan on his tours. Go. Yeah, I'm good at talking, so I could do that.
Well, last question is going to be the wild card question.
Okay.
You don't know this question.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. So we both have been in this business for years and years, and we know that not everything goes perfectly all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So is there a moment that stands out where you made a little fumble, or maybe you were embarrassed on a live shot and it turned out to be a learning experience and a good opportunity to say, you know what, if I can handle that, I can bounce right back because I know you have to get good at this in this business.
Wow, I wish I would have had time to think.
Yeah, sorry. I sprung this on you.
No, I know. I was told there would be a wild card. So I think I mess up every day in my job, and I flub, and I just move forward. There have been plenty of times on live shots. I know that with you in the studio for 10 About Town and me out live, there were so many times where, I would try to do different sports, like shoot a basketball or
right.
something athletic, and I'd be like, oh, let me try to do this. And I would just totally embarrass myself. And I just take it in stride because I'm like, I'm not an athlete. I think about the time that I threw out the first pitch at the Smokies game at Covenant Health Park. That was probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life because I hyped myself up about it so much. I was so scared. I think I even was telling you, like, I'm terrified.
You practiced, right?
I practiced.
Yeah.
My boyfriend, Thomas, we would go in the backyard and he would literally practice with me throwing it. And he would, like, try to do my form and all of this stuff. And I was just hopeless because I don't know. It was just really bad. I threw the first pitch right into the dirt and so bad that one of the mascots walked up to me afterwards and talked through the mascot mask, like, what was that? And I was like, don't say this to me. I'm already so embarrassed. All my friends and family are here. And it was Taylor Swift night.
Oh, that's right.
So anyway, but we move on from that.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm glad I never have to do that again, and I'm not a professional athlete. But what all of those moments have taught me is that it's okay to mess up, and messing up is human, and messing up on TV, it just shows that you're human and how you're able to recover. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about getting back up. Yep. And so just pushing forward. And I think that people respect whenever you're like, admit, hey, I'm bad at this, or hey, I was wrong, or all of those things. I've gotten a chance to do a lot of fun stuff. So I think just remembering this is supposed to be fun and moving forward, and just knowing that I was going to say it's not that serious. The news is serious, but sometimes the things that I would do, whether it was like at a trampoline park or a splash pitch or something, it's like, no, it's just a normal human thing.
And we have lots of fun.
Yes.
All right. Katie, thank you so much. It was so good to meet you officially via Meet the Team.
All right, Brittany, thank you.